Looks like a private plate also. Not sure what happened to the motorcycle that was behind him. He probably already hid with the other bikes. One of the bus drivers opened his window and spoke to me a moment ago because he was just queuing for the bus stop. And he said there's a lot of riders at the back there. They keep weaving in and out of the bus lane. And what he's worried about is he's going to hit one of them. Because that's the problem. They suddenly insert themselves. They don't always check the mirror. And then if the bus driver hits the rider, he'll be arrested for reckless imprudence. I don't want to summarize or generalize, but a lot of the time what they'll do is leave the bus lane, and then if they do get flagged down, they just lie. And they say, I wasn't in the bus lane. Why are you picking on me? No one's picking on you. You were just in the bus lane, and now you're pretending that you weren't. And you might be wondering, are they really apprehending and ticketing? Yes, they are. They're over there. It's just not practical or safe for me to run back and forth. One of the riders allegedly introduced himself as an agent. I'm not sure, an agent of what. Anyway, I can see they already issued him with a ticket. The Angkas rider yesterday, he was 10 out of 10. He was such a nice guy. He pulled over to the side without arguing. He admitted, yes, I was in the bus lane, and he gave his license right away. No argument, no lies, no running away. Even the enforcer said, Sana all. I wish all apprehensions were like that. What's this? The tin is so dark you can't see. He didn't stop. Why didn't he stop? So the police officer on that motorcycle was not with this van. He blocked it to assist the MMDA. They already got the license from the driver and they're pulling him off to the side now. Thank you to the police officer. Would they have been able to capture him? Maybe, maybe not. The fact that he jumped in without hesitation, thumbs up. Like this car here, who was tailgating the police car, and the moment he saw the enforcer, he tried to leave. That's what they do. They go behind police cars, ambulances, other emergency vehicles, pretend to be with them, fly through the bus lane, and then sometimes enforcers really think, oh, they might be with him and it's an emergency. They are pulling him off to the side with the others. I left the bus lane for a moment, so I didn't see this myself, but the enforcer told me this has been apprehended for bus lane violation. I came to the other side just so that I can show you people are really being ticketed, but they're just pulling them over here so it won't obstruct the bus lane. Okay, so there's a member of the Hazard gang coming now, and I think there's also a motorcycle behind him. Looks like a private plate also. Not sure what happened to the motorcycle that was behind him. He probably already hid with the other bikes. Now, like I mentioned earlier, it's not practical for me to run back and forward, so I will ask the enforcer. The good news is that with these daily enforcement operations, you can see a difference. There are less people in the bus lane. It's not perfect, especially if you go here early in the morning or late at night, but there's an improvement. And that's what matters. They need to improve things. I keep seeing comments from people saying, oh, you're wasting space on the road, or you're not thinking about a certain group of people. What is wrong with giving one single lane to commuters? It's one lane. You have 4 or 5 lanes to use if you're on a car or motorcycle. So MC speed along the bus lane. Must be, well, I don't want to estimate the speed because someone will complain that I don't have a radar gun. Definitely is going to be noticed. That's a P2P bus, by the way. That's why it's not in the bus lane. Look, that van. I hope they can get him once he comes forward. Don't know if anyone noticed it. I hope so. Another member of the Hazard gang stuck between 2 buses. Again, an improvised red plate. It says government vehicle. Whether it's true, I don't know. Like I keep telling you, there's a lot of people, or there have been many cases of people putting improvised red plates on their private vehicle and then pretending to be a government vehicle. I'm not accusing anybody. I'm just telling you that it's a common problem. I want to make that clear. And look, now that he's trying to leave the bus lane, he's actually delaying the buses behind him. They can't get past because he has to squeeze himself into the private lanes. Anyway, there's the enforcer. They've been so busy that sometimes there's not an enforcer available. It just takes so much manpower, stopping people, chasing people, issuing tickets. It's non-stop. There was actually someone that suggested putting cutouts of enforcers along the busway, and I thought that's not too crazy actually, because a lot of people, they look ahead, if they see an enforcer they don't use the bus lane, or they leave the bus lane. The only thing is you'd have to move the cutouts on a regular basis so they don't know which one is the real enforcer and which one is the cutout. And I know you might be saying, well, why don't you just hire more enforcers? Well, you need budget for that, right? You need to get a much higher budget approved so you can hire more enforcers. Anyway, obviously it's not going to happen. It's just a Facebook comment that made me think for a moment. But it's not that crazy. I know some countries have done something similar to that, especially at pedestrian crossings in school zones. They'll put something like that there to force people to slow down because they think there's an enforcer there, or sometimes they even use a child, like a cutout of a child, to make people slow down. So it's not that crazy of an idea, but I don't think it will happen. Okay, they're going to try and get that MC that's behind the bus. Okay, so that one's definitely going to be apprehended. There's another vehicle. It says government vehicle with a private plate, so whether it's true or not, I don't know. That one suddenly tried to leave the bus lane. Of course, it's going to try and pull him off to the side. Cars generally can't run away, especially if there's traffic like this. If they already have a high speed and they're blasting through, it makes it hard to stop them. But if there's congestion, there's no way. A comment that I often read is, why don't you put an enforcer at the start of the bus lane to wave people away? Well, firstly, there are signs, there are lane markings, and various other things to tell you this is a bus lane. So even if there's no enforcer there, you should respect the bus lane. But putting that aside, there's around 40 kilometers of bus lane, north-south. How are you going to guard that? Especially here on the flyovers and the tunnels where there's no barriers. And then even the sections that have barriers, there's openings all along them so that emergency vehicles can go in and out. Imagine the manpower that would be required to guard every single entrance and exit, right? And I can tell you, they have tried it before in some areas. They put an enforcer there at the front, waving people away. You know what happened the moment they got past the enforcer? They went back into the bus lane. So that means you need to put enforcers every 50 meters, every 100 meters. If they do not enforce the bus lane, it will be full of cars, it will be full of motorcycles, and the whole bus lane will fail. And hundreds of thousands of commuters will suffer. It's one lane. It's only one lane. This rider was flagged down for a simple violation of driving in slippers. As long as he has a license, it's only a ticket. That car has been flagged down for a coding. The driver gave the license, so they issued a ticket, send them on their way. If only the MMDA could still use their NCAP. They were operating it for several years without any problems. And actually, the complaints are against the LGU NCAP, not against MMDA. But still, they have to respect the temporary restraining order, and until that's lifted or until MMDA is excluded, they cannot use their CCTV for enforcement. You will see the big signs in the background, no parking, no loading, unloading anytime. This is also a hotspot for a hubble. Now that doesn't mean that every rider you see waiting here is a hubble, but it is a hotspot area.